What is up, Spartans? You are listening to HVAC Masters of the Hustle podcast. And here's your host, J-Dub Moneymaker, and welcome to episode 198. First off and foremost, I want to say what is up to all my listeners, everyone that truly reaches out to me every single week and tells me how this podcast brings you and your company to the next level. As we're ending 2022, man, I've just been waking up every single morning, seeing email threads, messages on how everyone's just executing this year and got themselves to that top level. As we say every single episode, I believe that we all have a Spartan inside of, I believe that we all have a Spartan inside of us, and it's my job, my duty, and my obligation to bring that out in you. And man, I'm super excited about this episode. The reason why is because I have love for my local market, the companies in my local market, to give back because, the market gave so much to me and I know the market so well. And, this is a young cat in the game that is definitely disturbing Sacramento. I hear companies talking about Attic Man all the time. Let's go ahead and welcome the one, the only Mario Lopez. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, Jason? How you doing, man?
Man, welcome to the hot seat.
In the hot seat.
Oh, man. So for my listeners, I was introduced to Mario probably a couple months ago, probably about a year ago. But I've seen his trucks driving around Sacramento. And the first time I saw his truck driving, it has that bright green. So it's an attention grabber. But then I like the name Attic Man as well. So, before we get into your story of how you got into this crazy industry, first off, I got to say congratulations because your logo is very catchy. The colors, very bright, vibrant. And you guys, like I said, is making a huge rumble in the Sacramento market, brother.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah. When we were trying to think of the logo and colors back in the day, I just wanted to do something different. You always see the blues and the reds for the cold and the hot and all of that. So I didn't see too many greens out there. And thought it was a good color. Make it pop.
There you go. So tell my listeners a little bit about your story, Mario. How did you get into this crazy industry that we call heating and air?
It's kind of a crazy story. So when I was 16, I was in high school, and just like all of us, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life. My mother was hell bent on sending me to college and going to college, but I think like most entrepreneurs, which I didn't know at the time, just the school thing wasn't for me. The going to class every day, having this set schedule, having to do homework and turn things in. It didn't agree with me. I mean, I was a good student. I had a 3.0 all throughout high school, but I couldn't wait to leave, and I definitely didn't want to go to college. So, everybody, I was talking to everyone about options, like what should I do? Where should I go? And everyone says you should get into a trade. If you're not going to go to college, you should get into a trade. And, at the time, it was kind of it was frowned upon to not go to college. So that was the things. Like you either go to college and you're going to be successful, or you don't go to college and you're going to be a failure. That was kind of the mindset that was being, told to me all throughout high school. And my friends are going to colleges and applying at colleges, all this stuff. So, I just figured, let me see what I can find out there, get out in the world and see what the world has to offer. I did not believe that if I didn't go to college, I'd be a failure. I figured there's got to be a way. Never thought I would be owning an HVAC business. That wasn't the plan. I don't have family in HVAC. I don't have family that own businesses. My father worked for UPS for 30 years. My mother, works at a local gym. So, it was just kind of like trying to figure out what to do. I jumped on Craigslist, started looking at job offerings, and I saw one that said customer service rep at a heating and air company. And at the time it was $11 an hour. And it paid $5 for every appointment I set. And this ad was what I figured out later disguised as a telemarketing position, outbound telemarketing position. But here I am, 16 years old. And at the time, $11 an hour, I think minimum wage was like $6.50 back then. So I'm thinking $11 an hour, $5 an appointment. All right, let me go check this out. I interviewed. They hired me. It was at a local company. They're not in business anymore here in Sacramento. And it's funny because my office is like down the street from where that office was that I started at. But yeah, I mean, they hired me, they put me at a desk, and it was literally a telephone, the white pages, and they said, call these numbers, call these people, and you're going to sell them tune-ups, $49 tune-ups, HVAC tune-ups. And for every one that you set, you got $5. And that was the job. So I would get out of school about 2:53. By the time I made it over there, it was about 3:15. I would clock in and I'd be on the phone calling until about 9, 10 o'clock at night. I did that. I started out, didn't know what I was doing. I just read the script. They gave you a script, said stick to the script and you can't lose. And it's a numbers game. And
Mm-hmm.
one out of every 100 calls you make, you'll land. Um, and I was really good at it. I think just because I didn't give up when people would say no and hang up the phone.
Let's talk about that real quick, because I got some CSRs that are doing that, or dispatchers that are doing that right now, that I talk to, weekly, daily, and they're getting defeated like that, making those outbound calls, calling 100 people, maybe only getting one. But talk about the mindset that you need to have, because I mean, you're getting rejection after rejection, or no one answering the phone. And then all of a sudden, right, you keep doubting yourself. Is this the position for me? What do I do?
Yeah. I think the advantage I had back then being 16 years old is I was oblivious. I just didn't know any better. I was just doing my job. They gave me a phone. They said, call these numbers and just keep calling. And every yes you get $5. So it wasn't even in my head at the time, like, oh, I'm competing to keep my job, or I'm competing against these people. I just sat down and I just did my job. I just literally called and called and called and called. And that was what made me successful, because now being on the other side of being an owner, I mean, I got people here in the office that make these outbound calls and I tell them the same story. But I get it now. Like, your own mindset is what will hold you back. You get 10 people, 20 people, 30 no's, people yelling at you, take me off your list, hang up the phone, they're rude. Your mindset starts to go downhill. You start to think, like, what's wrong with me? Why am I not closing any of these? Is it the way that I'm talking? Is it my script? And then your own mind will start to bring you down. And as a result, now you have all these doubts. You're not confident. And it's no different than selling HVAC systems in a home, which, you specialize in and go through every day. So, it comes down to your own mindset. You cannot get into that negative mindset. You have to be able
Mhm.
to maintain a positive mindset. Now, the question is, how do you do that? Right? How do you maintain a positive mindset? That's the big question. And I don't think there's a set answer for that for everybody. It's kind of different for each individual person. That's kind of what I found.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of my guys, it's natural to have sales guys that get into that mindset, and I gotta bring them aside and talk to them and pump them up and instill that confidence
Gotta be
back.
that hoorah guy.
Got to be that hoorah guy. Some of the guys that's what works. You bring them in, you tell them, hey, quit being a little bitch. You know what you're doing, man. You got this. You kind of just give them a little kick in the ass, light a
Mhm.
little fire under them, and then poof, off they go, and then they're back next week asking for help again. For some people, I always talk about this book Relentless by Tim Grover. I'm not sure if you've read it, but
Yep.
he talks in there about guy trained Kobe and Michael Jordan, all them, and everybody has a dark side that you don't know about, something that really gets their juices flowing. For some people, it's gambling, right? Like, they go and lose $500 at a blackjack table, or maybe they win $200 at a blackjack table, gets their
Yeah.
juices flowing. So there's a lot of different ways to stay in that mindset and stay focused and stay confident. And it's different for every person. I know what does it for me, and
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say on here what that is because that's just for me to know,
Yeah.
right? But I know it does it for me and gets me back in that mindset and gets me focused and keeps me on top. So everybody has to figure that out for themselves.
So Mario, going from this introduction of HVAC, where'd you go from here?
So I did that. I was really good at that. I didn't even realize how good I was. I mean, I started, there was 15 people in this little office, all calling. And within 6 months, they literally fired everybody except for me and one other guy. Because most of these people were putting up 2 appointments a day, three. And I'm over here booking 9, 10, 11, 12 a day, making $5 a pop. I'm in high school coming to school with all this cash. Like, hey, look at
Everyone's
this.
like, man, what you doing, Mario?
Yeah, and that's how I got introduced into the sales game. And at the time, I didn't even realize, like, oh man, I could make good money doing HVAC. I just thought, like, oh, I could make good money on the phones. So from there, that company really, they kind of recognized, like, man, this kid is good. I mean, I remember they're pulling me aside, like, what the hell? Like, we haven't had a guy like this be able to sell like this in a long time. You're only 16. So from there, they asked, do you want to be a tech? Do you want to learn how to diagnose systems. You want to sell in the house? And naturally, I said yes. So I pretty much did that. So I was about 18. I ended up not working at that company anymore. I hopped around, went to a couple other companies. I think I sold my first HVAC system contracts, like 19K, when I was 18 years old in a home. And that's right then and there is when I kind of figured out, like, okay, like, I can make a lot of money and make a living doing this. This is my answer to where I don't have to go to college. I just got to sell. And from there, I really wanted to learn the business. So we sold so much. They said it was another small company. Say, hey, we're booked out weeks on installs. Do you have any interest in learning how to install? We need help in the field. And I said, sure. So I jumped out in installs and crawling through attics, pulling furnaces up. I did that for it's about 6 months. But the problem with that was I played football for 8 years, and football really screwed my back up. I have a slip disc in my lower back, and if that thing flares up, I can't walk. I can't walk. I can't do anything. So doing installs started messing up my back. And from there, I was like, okay, I need to get out of the physical part of this and back into, being able to make a living with my personality and my people skills versus physical labor.
Yeah. And then, so going from there, when did you realize, I'm tired of working for the man? I want to start my own company. I want to do my own thing. Because, Attic Man you've only been around for less than 5 years. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep, that's right. Almost 5 years now when I actually started.
So, see, when I was in Sacramento, you weren't even started yet, because I stopped sales about 4 years, or you were in your first year, but I never saw you. But now they see you everywhere,
Yeah.
So talk about you, transferring from working for the man to being the man.
So it's kind of funny there too, because while all of this was going on, I had a dream of being a musician. I play guitar. My best friend was my drummer. We started a band when I was 16, metal band. And we were in Sacramento for about 6, 7 years. We did the touring. And while I was making money working in these HVAC companies, my real dream was I wanted to be a rock star, really. Like I wanted to tour and do the whole rock star life. Like that's what I was all about. So I took the band very seriously, and I ran the band like a business. We had a business license. We had a business bank account. I tracked all the money that came in from selling songs and t-shirts at our shows and using that money for marketing and paying for recording expenses, paying for tours. So in that process, I started to realize, dang, I'm good at the business side of the band. I'm a great guitarist too, but making money as a musician is very difficult. And turns out when I started actually touring, I hated it. You see the documentaries of Guns N' Roses, all these guys, and it looks like a big giant party all the time. And in reality, that's not how it is at all. Going city to city in a small little van or an RV. It was terrible. I absolutely hated it. So that's where I kind of realized, like, damn, I'm really good at the business side of this. I had other bands asking me to be their manager and to get them to the point that I had brought my band to, and booking shows and tours and things like that. So, I just kind of it clicked one day. I was doing HVAC. I realized, wow, I'm good at the business side of this. The business side always came naturally. Even as a little kid, I had a little lawn mowing business, go around mowing lawns, the typical entrepreneurial story.
Absolutely.
And so then, yeah, it just kind of one day, I was about 21 years old, right around there. And I just kind of realized I should just work for myself and build an HVAC company, and I kind of started talking to family and friends about it. Say, I want to start an HVAC company. And everybody thought I was crazy. I had people, how difficult it is to grow and scale a residential HVAC company. And I said, I don't care. I'm young. I got the energy. I felt like I really kind of knew what to do because I had worked in almost every aspect of the business already at that point. So I think I got my contractor's license finally when I was 22 or 23. And that's, I was still working at other companies and family and friends. And then next thing you know, I'm so busy. I didn't have the name Attic Man yet. I'm just so busy that I had to quit my day job because I couldn't keep up with the demand of people calling me, wanting me to fix their ACs or install new units for them. And, I was doing all of it myself. I didn't have employees. I was just running around on Saturdays. I had a little soccer mom van, literally a Chrysler Town and Country. I would show up to a job and have my tools in the back and slide open the door. I was just hustling, man. I was just out there hustling,
grinding, baby,
day in and day out. And I was making great money. I'm like, you know what, man, like I could just do this, like this could be. So, that's where it kind of clicked.
So you didn't have a name yet. So where did Attic Man come from?
So Attic Man came from, I was in an attic, like I always was, working, and my buddies are calling me up. Hey man, what are you doing? It's a Saturday. Like, what are you doing tonight? Let's go downtown. Let's go to the bar. And I would just always tell them, like, oh man, I can't. Like, where are you at right now? I'm in an attic. They're like, and they call me again, same thing. Hey, where you at? What are you doing? I'm in an attic. I'm in an attic. And then one time, one of them just like, all right, Attic Man, like, like a joke like that. And I was like, I like that. It's catchy, Attic Man. So that was it. I just decided right then and there. I was like, oh, I need a company name. How about Attic Man? Works for me.
There you go. Absolutely. I mean, I like the name right there, Attic Man.
Yeah, it's catchy, and it's different. And what's cool about it now is, like, as you scale the business, anybody can be Attic Man, I think my dad told me, like, oh, you should make it Lopez Heating and Air, because we're all proud of our family name. Make it Lopez Heating and Air, Mario Lopez Heating and Air. I'm like, no, like, because Attic Man is interchangeable. Like, I'm the Attic Man, she could be the Attic Man, you could be the Attic Man, it doesn't matter, right? So it's kind of more of a brand as opposed to a family name.
Absolutely. And one thing that I want to talk about is, your first year in business. I got a lot of listeners right now that might be in their first year, second year of business right now that might be struggling, right? So let's talk about some obstacles as a new business owner that you had to endure and overcome. And what was, one of the biggest ones that stands out to you year to date?
I think when I was first starting out, my mindset was, you got to decide, do you want to scale? And if you want to scale, how big do you want to scale? And I knew from the beginning, I wanted to take this thing as far as I could. So for me, right away, I knew I needed customers. I need to get my name out there. I need people to start knowing who I am, what services I offer, and they can start referring their friends and family. So how do you build your customer base? Well, it really just comes down to straight working and hustling, getting out there, getting into every single house you can, and just doing the work, getting a customer. One customer, I tell my guys all the time, one customer knows 25 people. You provide a good service to one person and they really actually enjoyed your service, really liked you as a person, and they want to refer you, they will refer you. So one person can be 25 people, and then those 25 people know 25 people, and it just grows from there. The biggest obstacle that you'll face when opening any kind of business, especially a residential HVAC business, is the work. You have to be willing to put in the hard work. And I think the advantage I had is I was just so young and full of energy that I didn't mind. I mean, I would literally wake up 4 a.m. I would schedule a job, to do a furnace change out. And I'd tell the customer, I'll be there at 5 a.m. if you're okay with it. They'd say, yep, sounds good. And I knew I had to get it done early because I had other ones lined up. And right at this time, my dad worked for UPS, and I told him, hey, retire from there. He'd been there 30 years. I said, I need help. So he was the first one to jump. He retired from UPS and then started helping me on the side. So then it was just him and I. He'd show up at my house where I was living at the time, 4 a.m. We would load up the truck or the van or whatever we had. We would get there 5 a.m. We would work till 8 or 9, and we would just do job after job after job. Literally would not be home in my driveway unloading that truck until about midnight, 1 a.m. I mean, we have pictures that we look back at now.
And then the sun rises and you got to do it again.
You go and you take your shower, you eat, and you pass out, and you wake up and you do it again. And if not a lot of people have that in them, that kind of muscle.
Let's talk about that inner beast, dude, because you're right. A lot of people, they want to be the beast, but they don't do what beasts do, right? And, you talk about let's talk about how I built the podcast and everything, right? In order for me to take the leap of faith, I was working at Bell Brothers. I was making 300,000+. And I took the leap of faith because of being consistent, right? Doing the right thing, showing up, building it. I was working 10 hours a day selling systems, and then I would come back, find someone to get in the hot seat, do the podcast, do all my edits, and I was up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes. And,
Absolutely.
as a business owner, what you're doing, Mario, growing your company, people need to understand that it's not this glamour that you guys see us posting on social media, right? Going on boats and going on trips and vacations and all this stuff. The shit behind the scenes is crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. Nobody, unless you've done it, you don't know. I still have family and friends that don't understand how much work it took to get to this point. And even now I don't work those hours like I used to anymore. I still put in 8, 10, 12 hours, sometimes 14-hour days when needed. But yeah, in the beginning, you have to do that. If you truly want to scale, you have to put in an insane amount of work. I mean, you're sleeping 4 hours, 5 hours, waking up, doing it again. And you don't do that forever. For me, it was about 2 years. It was about 2 years straight from when I got my license, got the name, made the logo, until I got to the point where I had, 4, 5, 6 guys under me that could like take some stress out from under me. But I spent a solid 2 years. I'm pretty sure we tracked it that like I didn't go on a single vacation. I didn't go to the bar on a Saturday. It was 2 years of my life that I just worked my ass off. And I knew that if I did that, it would all pay off. And it wasn't difficult for me because the thing is, a lot of people think that you can teach this and you can learn it. Maybe some people can, but for me, it just came from my childhood. I mean, I was, my father just instilled that in me from when I was a kid. He's like, you always work hard. We're Mexican. Mexicans work hard. That is your culture. You're a man in the Mexican culture. You go to work, you make the money, you work your ass off to provide for your family. You go home, you go to sleep, and you do it again. That is life. And you can go to Mexico and see that today. You can go to San Diego and see that here in Sacramento. So it was instilled in me from the beginning. I just thought that was the way it was. I wasn't thinking of it as, okay, like, oh, I have to do this because this is what entrepreneurs do and I want to look like a badass. No, it was just like, that was my mindset. I didn't go to college. My dad's like, well, you're going to need to work and you're going to have to work hard like he did for UPS for so many years. He would leave the house 7 a.m. and get home at 9 p.m. His entire life delivering, especially during Christmas time, like right now.
Oh, yeah. Super crazy busy. Yeah. And, talking about my journeys and everything like that, I mean, people don't see behind the scenes of me waking up. Dude, I got East Coast training every single day, right? So I'm up starting 4 a.m. trainings in the West Coast over here to make sure that I can help people get to the next level on the East Coast before they run their jobs. And then when I fly home on Thursdays, I have all my accountability meetings with all my business owners on Fridays. So when I'm in New York or somewhere on the East Coast and I fly back on a Thursday, I don't get home till like midnight. And then I got to still be up. That's 3 hours of sleep. I run probably 5 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep a day.
Yep. Yep. That's awesome. I mean, that's just what it takes, and if it's not instilled in you, if you don't, something has to click up here for you to really accept that fate of having to work your ass off and hustle day in and day out if you truly want to build a business and be an entrepreneur, because you're not going to get the jets and the fancy trips and all the things that reward you later if you don't put in that initial work. So I think that's why most people fail in the beginning. They can't handle that. They try, or they make it look like they're doing all this hard work, but hard work doesn't lie. You put in the work, you'll get results, period.
Let me ask you a question, Mario. When you started off, right, how many people, you were talking about your family saying not a good decision, but how many people told you were crazy? Like, I mean, people tell me I'm crazy all the time, right? But how often did you hear that from your friends, your family, your loved ones?
It was more friends that would say you're crazy because they didn't get it, my family, I've been blessed to have a very supportive family all the way around. The moment, I mean, when I told my mom I wasn't going to college when I was 18, right when I was graduating high school, she screamed at me. I remember the conversation. It was in the car, and I broke it to her. I'm like, I'm not going to college. And she just went off. And now we laugh about it, but yeah, no, I mean, once you got kind of past that point, family was always supportive. Like, yep, you follow your dreams, go for it. They were always like, even with the band, they would come to my shows. My grandmother would be in the crowd at the boardwalk, right? Ace of Spades at my metal show, in the crowd, like cheering. So family was always super supportive, but friends is where they were like, they didn't get it because I was so young, 21, 22, 23 years old. They want to go to the bars and they want to drink and they want to party. And, I mean, so when you tell them no, like, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to do this instead. Yeah, they were like, I don't get it. What, do you not want to hang out with us? Like, no, it's nothing to do with that. I just, I got dreams, man, and I want to follow these. So yeah, people will tell you you're crazy, and I like to talk about your dreams. Though. People tell me I'm crazy now. Attic Man is almost a $10 million company. We got so close, right, this year, and my goal is I want to get to 50 million in revenue a year. And like people all the time, even people that work for me are like, you're nuts. My dad now, like, we're doing things so big now, he just doesn't even get it anymore. He's just like, whatever, mijo. Just don't go crazy, because he sees he still works here, full time. So he sees everything that's going on day in and day out. But yeah, even now, they tell you crazy, but talk about those things. Talk about your dreams. When you talk about them, you put them out there, it'll come to light,
and dream big. That's what I tell people is dream big, massive. Disguise the fucking limits of what you guys can achieve. Show up every day, wake up, put in the work and the effort, and a little by little, inch by inch, 10 years, it might not be overnight. Too many people today try to get instant gratification. It might be 10 years. It might be 15 years. But if you guys put in the work, I promise you, if you're a 500,000, $1 million, $2 million company and you want to be at 10 million like Mario grew within 5 years, put in the work, show up just like Mario did.
Yeah, put in the work. And then on top of that, don't be afraid to fail and don't be afraid of what people think of you. I think a lot of people are afraid to shoot their goals so high because if they fail or they don't get it, then they're embarrassed, and it's like they're a failure. Like, dude, fuck that. Like nobody don't care about any of that. Like, we fail all the time. We make decisions and they're mistakes, or I'll post something on Facebook, like, hey, I have this idea, let's do this. And like, I'll get like 4 comments and 3 likes. And I could go and look at that and say, wow, really nobody gives a shit what I have to say. Or I don't care and I just keep pushing and doing what I'm doing. And the things that work out and are successful are big wins. And the ones that don't, that didn't work. Move on from that and focus on the things that do work, So don't be afraid to dream big. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to tell everyone around you what your goals are, no matter how crazy they are, because really anything is possible. I mean, I think I'm proof of that. I'm nowhere near where I want to be yet. But for someone like me that had 0 family in HVAC, 0 family that owns and runs, big businesses like this, just coming from a normal middle-class family to be able to do this is amazing. And it just comes down to hard work and wit, putting yourself out there, shaking hands with people, meeting people, taking chances, just go out there and do things, just take action and do things. And then just stuff will happen,
Absolutely. So, Mario, you're a young guy. How old are you?
So I'm 29.
29 years old, a young gun, making shit happen in this industry, making no excuses, right? I love seeing it. I love seeing the energy. And as we're talking about you growing, right, almost hitting that $10 million mark, it starts with culture and leadership, right? And talk about the importance of culture and leadership within your company.
It's extremely important. I mean, your company's success is directly correlated to the culture, and the culture is directly correlated to leadership. So, in my company, it's me and Georgia. She runs the business with me, my romantic and business partner. And it comes down to us to come to work every day and instill that culture, and motivate. It's funny how quickly it spreads. Just like anybody, I have bad days. I have off days where I'm not feeling motivated, or maybe something went wrong and I just got chewed out by some customer and I'm feeling defeated. And that energy spreads throughout the company quickly. And it's your job as the leader of your business to maintain positivity and to continue to motivate day in and day out everybody that's part of your team, whether it's upper management, middle management, or somebody is an installer or service tech. I pull guys aside. I have one-on-ones with them. I take them out on the weekends to dinner. I invite them to my house. I have barbecues
You got a
tomorrow.
cool thing coming up this weekend.
Tomorrow, I got 2 party buses picking us up at our shop. We're having a breakfast barbecue at our shop. Everyone's showing up. I got Christmas gifts for people. They got Christmas gifts for each other. I invited a bunch of people in the industry in Sacramento that work at other companies, all the big name companies, small name companies, you got it. Some of them are coming. We're going to have breakfast, mimosas, exchange some gifts, jump on the party bus. We're going to go paintballing. It's going to take us down to Davis. We're going to go rented out that for the day. So we're going to go paintballing, and after that, go to dinner and back home. But, those kinds of things, it's team building, and it shows that, you really care. I love building relationships with my team. Doesn't matter if you work in the office, if you are a sales tech and installer, I want to know who you are, because if I know who you are individually, I know what motivates you, because it's different for every single person. And if I can motivate you individually and you're feeling fired up and you're like, man, I love working here because I have my own personal goals. I got guys that have dreams of buying this house. Plenty of guys want to buy their first house, and I'm coaching them through, how to save their money for that and what they should do financially, and you can really get to the heart of your team, of your people, figure out what motivates you, Bob, what motivates you, John, and that will help grow your company. If they're motivated, they're happy in their position, they're happy at this company, and they know that they have a big part to play in us growing this business, then they're going to come in every day motivated, fired up, and want to do their best to reach their goals.
Let me ask you a question, Mario. It seems like you have amazing culture there, great leadership, great management team. What does your hiring process look like there? How do you get these amazing people?
Most of the people I think we were at about 33, 34 of us now. Most of the people we have are referrals from people that already work here. I don't have too many friends and family. I got my dad, and I do have my best friend from high school. But other than that, everyone else is people that I've just met in Sacramento. Well, when we hire someone and it works out, and they don't always all work out, obviously, right? It's not a perfect match every time, but for the ones that do, that buy into our vision, that respect me and our leadership team and actually believe in what we're doing here, they love working here. Every single person that works here makes more money now than they did at any other company they have worked at throughout their entire careers. I've made sure of that. And I'm willing to do that for people if they want to be a part of growing this business. Is what I tell them. I'm not hiring you just so you can make more money. If you're just looking for a better paycheck, no matter how good you are, I'm not really that interested in having you on my team. I view this as a team. It's like a football team, man. Like, I want people here that are not just trying to get their own personal stats up, but they want to work as a team to win the Super Bowl. And all the people that are here now believe in that 100%. They know that it's us against them, and they all have something to prove. We all have something to prove. We're growing, and we have massive goals. And those people that are here and that are a part of that, it works out so well that it doesn't take long before they come to me and say, hey, Mario, I got a friend that's a service tech over at XYZ company. They're interested in meeting you. Hey, I got someone interested, and we meet. And the hiring process is I bring them in, I talk to them. I want to know what their goals are. I want to know what their day-to-day lives are and why they're looking for a change and why they want to be a part of our team. We're not desperate to hire. I have a lot of people that knock on our doors and want to come in, and we hire a lot of them. And most of the time it works out, and it has to be an even exchange. I am willing to pay you more than you're making now. I'm willing to take care of you if you want to be a part of this team and be a part of a growing company, not just in a position at a company that's already established and been around forever, but like you got something to prove. You want to grow yourself, and we want to go out there and take as much market share as we can. And if you're down for that and you're a master of the hustle and you like to get in there and work your ass off and reach your goals, then you'll work out great here.
For some of my listeners that are tuning in, if they do want to jump on and join the Attic Man team, how do they reach out? Where do they go?
So I'll just put my number out here. Can I do that?
Yeah,
is that okay?
Absolutely.
So my phone number is 916-224-1105. I text people that work at other companies all the time. Text me, call me, get to know me. If you want to come out paintballing tomorrow, We have open spots. It'll be fully paid for. You come out to our shop, hop on the bus, hang out with us, see what our culture is about. Maybe it'll be a good fit. Maybe not. Who knows? But let's find out. So they can call me. They can text me. I don't even do the whole resume thing. Like, I just want to know who you are, what you're about, what your skills are. Let's bring you in. You can meet Georgia. You can meet the office staff. We'll see if it's a good fit. If it's a good fit, you feel good about it, I feel good about it, then let's do this thing. Come on and let's see what we can do.
There you go. And what is your goals over there at Attic Man for 2023?
Well, I mean, we got a lot of goals. If you're talking numbers, we want to get to 15 to 20 million next year for 2023. We obviously know that I think there's going to be a mild recession. We're already technically in a recession, but we do have that kind of looming, but I don't think it's going to be like the Great Depression and, all these things. I mean, there's so much work out there and people that need HVAC work and things like that. So we want to grow in terms of revenue. Those are our numbers that we're shooting for. And as a company, we just want to continue to build our teams. I need more service tech sales guys. Like I said, I hired, I think 4 more this week, different positions. We have 4 install crews right now. We do about 4 units a day. I want to bump that up to 8. So, we pretty much kind of want to just double all the way around. Double up. And then we'll see what 2023 holds, and then maybe double again for 2024. So a lot of opportunity and room for growth.
Absolutely, brother. Well, you're out there crushing it. I got listeners from business owners, dispatchers, CSRs, comfort advisors, service technicians. What do you want them to get out of this episode of HVAC Masters of the Hustle?
I think I just want them to know that anything's possible. I meet a lot of guys that even still work for me that say they want to own their own businesses one day. That's awesome. I encourage that. I think it's great. I don't think it's cut out for everyone. It's the hardest thing I have ever done in my entire life is to get to this point. And I think it's going to be even harder to double up and get to the next point. But, if there's anything you can take out of this, like I did, I'm 29 now. And I was already killing it when I was 25, even when I was a smaller company. I was out there crushing it. I'm making my dreams come true. I know what my dreams are. I love my team. I want to take care of them. If you work for me and you're part of the Attic Man team, I want to make sure you're reaching your individual goals, whatever they may be, whether it's buying a house in Hawaii or, doubling up or tripling up your paycheck or getting $100,000 in your savings account, buying your first house, whatever it is, all of those things are 100% achievable. If you know the right people and you're willing to put in the work, you can achieve anything.
Boom. Well, until next time, thanks, Mario, for being a guest in the hot seat, brother. It was an honor.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it, man.
Boom.